Hi, it's Karen Kennaby from Around the Table with Karen. And today I wanted to share something with you that turned into a bit of a learning curve for me. So this morning I was guest speaker at a lovely transformational event in a country house hotel just outside London. And this meant that I left home at 7:30 this morning. Pretty grotty morning, rain and a bit cold and nasty. Anyway, I was feeling great and I had my route planned out, all printed out. I don't use sat-nav. And so I started off and everything was just fine. And then a few miles into the journey, the road was closed. So I had to follow on and try and work out where I was, but it was all a bit confusing because it's not a route that I knew. I think I might have done it once before, but it isn't a route that I'm familiar with. So anyway, I struggled around for a little bit, and then I thought I knew one of the roads, so I went down there. And then another road was closed. This time there'd been a major accident and the police were there and they'd closed it off. There was no diversion, just a road closed. So I just headed off in the opposite direction, starting to feel a little bit concerned about time. I'd left myself plenty of time, but this journey should have taken an hour. By this stage I was already an hour into it. So I carried on and I couldn't see anything on the signs that were any kind of clue as to where I was going or where exactly I was. I was feeling really pretty lost, and although I'd got my printed route, of course once I'd gone off that I didn't know where to go next. So I carried on and I switched on the Google Maps on my iPhone and started following that, which was a bit tricky because there was heavy traffic and heavy rain, so it wasn't ideal trying to sort of look down at that and follow the traffic. But anyway, I did, and long story short, eventually I got to the venue just under 2 hours after I left home. I was in time. I'd allowed plenty of time, like I said. I'd allowed time so that I could sit and do a meditation, so that I could have a nice chat with the organiser, so I could have some green tea, and most of that went out of the window. I was still in time because the event started at 9:30 for 10, so it meant that I was there and could join others and have a drink before we started. But I was frankly a little bit puzzled as to why life had put these diversions in my way, because I'd been planned and I'd got myself sorted and I was in great form. I was high energy, so I really couldn't work out what it was, and I knew that there had to be a reason. And then when I was driving home, it suddenly hit me, bam, this is just like going on a diet. And it's an analogy. So if you think about it, you start off on a new diet and you're full of hope and expectations with this new diet, and you've got your plan and you're going to follow it, and you just sort of head off, hopefully, and wanting these great results. But a couple of days in, you're out with friends and you're a bit confused about what to eat on the menu, and you end up maybe with chicken and chips or something like that, and you feel a little bit cross with yourself because you know that really wasn't on your plan. But anyway, you carry on and your stomach doesn't feel too great, but okay. And then you try and work out how you can compensate for that on the plan that you've got, and you carry on for a bit, and maybe the next day it gets into the evening and you start feeling starving. Well, you're craving, of course, you're not really starving, but you're craving something sweet. You go to the freezer, find a tub of ice cream, and you start on the ice cream, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole lot. And then maybe you still want something else, so you have a bit of chocolate. So anyway, by then you're feeling completely off track. You probably feel very uncomfortable, your stomach will feel a bit bloated, but mainly it's the pain of knowing that you've let yourself down and you're frustrated and you feel a bit incompetent, like I did when I was on this journey and I couldn't work out where I was supposed to be going. So when I was on that journey, what would have been absolutely perfect for me this morning was for somebody to be there and say, look, it's okay, just go down here, take the first left, carry on for about 3 miles, turn right at the roundabout, and about 100 yards down the road, that's where you're going. And you know what? I'll stay on the phone with you until you get there, just to give you a bit of extra comfort. That would have been fantastic, and I would have felt very relaxed, very certain, and I would have got there quicker, and everything would have been so much easier. And that, of course, is what's really needed when you start out on a new eating plan. Because it's all very well having a book or a plan or whatever it is, and of course we know this stuff. To a very large degree, we know what we should do, we know what we ought to do, but sometimes it just gets very confusing, and especially if we get a little bit off track and then we try and get ourselves back on track and it just doesn't work. So this made me realise I need to create something that gives a ton more personal support, so that if you have a goal and you really want to get there, then we need to make sure that it's ultra simple for you to do so, and that if it gets confusing, we can help make it easier again. And part of this is about being really, really clear about where you're actually going, because again, coming back to that journey thing, I didn't know what my journey really looked like. I didn't know what landmarks I needed to be looking out for. All I got was an address and a postcode, and I was just heading for that. And obviously I had the plan that said turn left here, turn right there, but as soon as I was off that and diverted, I didn't know how to get back onto it. And it's exactly the same, of course, with following a new eating plan. You know, whether it's a named diet or whether it's just a new way of eating for you, whatever it is, whether it's because you want to lose weight, whether it's because you want to feel better, have more energy, whatever it is, you need something that is going to adjust with you. And so what I've decided to do is create a spring special. And so I'm going to start that off with 1.5 hours, one-to-one, either in your home, or if that's too far away, then we can do it over Skype. And during that, we will work out, what is your vision? You know, what do you want the result to really, really look like? Because it's just not enough to know that you want to lose weight or you want more energy. It has to be really clear, really well defined. And we need to put some goals into that vision as well. And we need to wrap it all up with, you know, all your senses so that you can really, really feel it and see it, and you know what you're heading for. So that's how we'll start off. And we'll also look at your big why for wanting to do this now. Because again, if you know, really know why you're trying to do this, this will help to keep you on track. And then, in addition to that, so that normally is £250 for me to come to your home or for us to meet up over Skype for 1.5 hours. But this is a spring special. So in addition to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on a one-to-one phone call every week for 6 weeks, so that we can fine-tune as you go along. So we can talk about, you know, what is working, what isn't working. In other words, we can sort out those diversions and find ways to get you back on track and help you keep on plan, keep with your vision, keep with your big why, which is huge. I'm also going to provide unlimited email access to me over that 6-week period. You will also have additional tutorials through the Joyful Eating Club. So there'll be videos, audios, full eating plan. Now, what I didn't say is we are going to create a personalised eating plan for you. So if you think about this, it's more like having something that's couture designed rather than off the peg. And of course, that's always going to fit better, isn't it? I mean, it just makes sense. So it might be that, you have used a certain way of eating or a certain diet in the past, and you've had some good results, but you haven't managed to stay with it. And things have slipped or shifted, but it's given you an insight into what works for you. We'll work out something that is just right for you, that works for you, for your body, for your lifestyle, everything. And then all the support that I'm giving you will help keep you on track with that. So I'm doing all of that for £175 for the full 6 weeks. So that's less than £29 a week. It's extraordinary, isn't it? So I really wanted to make this very, very accessible. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it at that sort of price, then there are 3 reasons actually. One is it really saddens me to see how many people start off with good intentions, get off track, and then just can't manage to get back on track on their own. And I totally understand, and I do think this journey analogy really does work very well for it. The second is that I'm writing my first book, and I would love to have some more case studies to use in that. And don't worry, we don't have to use your name if you don't want me to. We can if you do, it depends. But that will be really, really valuable for me. And then the third thing is that this is a new model, and I would like as many people as possible to be able to come through this model and for me to know, is this exactly what everybody would like? So it's really simple. It's 6 weeks. It can transform your life. It's about keeping it natural, keeping it real, transforming your life, everything that, I'm all about, and fitting it into your life. So there'll be a little button on the page here. Just press that and you can reserve your place, and then we can set up our first call or our first visit and get cracking. Spring is the absolute best time for resolutions. It's so much better than New Year. You stand so much more chance, statistically this is, it's not just a nice time of year. Statistically, you stand so much more chance of success if you start your resolutions in spring. And I would like to be the one to really help you, take you by the hand and just see you get the results that you're looking for and keep you on track. And after this 6 weeks, maybe we look at something to just help maintain it all. But for the time being, press that button now and get yourself booked onto this spring special. And if you have any other questions, or if I haven't covered something that you'd like to know more about, then either just send me an email, karen@aroundthetablewithkaren.com, or put a comment under this and I will address that for you. But I do hope that this will be useful and valuable, and I would love to work with you. So go on, push the button now, let's get cracking, and happy spring and happy spring special. This is Karen Kennaby saying bye for now and see you very soon.